Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. In the last session, we completed our discussion related to Jenkins. So today we are going to start with our front-end development part. Front-end development part we are going to start from today. So we are Java project batch people now. So for the Java project, we need to develop the front end. So that front end we are going to learn by using Angular. Okay, so how our projects looks like in the real time. Now, in the real time, currently, people are developing user interface as one project. So this user interface will be available as one project. Earlier, we used to develop a single application that contains UI, backend, everything. But now UI is getting developed as one application, and in the backend, several microservices will be available. Microservice 1, microservice 2, microservice 3, microservice 4. Like that, project will have multiple microservices. It is microservice based architecture. Microservices are nothing but REST APIs. So this is REST API 1. We are going to develop our projects by using microservices, REST API 1, REST API 2, and REST API 3, and REST API 4. So like this, multiple microservices will be available. Those microservices can communicate with the same database, or those microservices will communicate with different databases. So now these microservices will have communication with the DB. They are going to communicate with the database to perform some DB operations like this. And one microservice can communicate with another microservice based on the requirement. So REST API 2 is communicating with REST API 3 and giving the response to the REST API 2. So this is called inter-service communication. If one microservice is communicating with another microservice, that is called inter-service communication. And few microservices can communicate with third-party microservices also. REST API 1 can communicate with third-party REST API. Third-party REST API nothing but other company developed project. Third party REST API nothing but it is other company developed project. This is third party API. So in our microservices, we can see several kinds of applications like this. This is also one API, but this API is not developed by our company. That is a third party API. Like this, we are going to do our backend development. So our project will contain collection of REST APIs. That project which contains a collection of REST APIs is called microservice based project. As part of these microservices, one microservice is talking to third party REST API. That that REST API is communicating with a third party REST API, and microservice is communicating with a database, and microservices communicating with each other. Inter-service communication is also available. Inter-service communication is also available. And these backend APIs will be deployed separately in the servers. Backend APIs will be deployed in the servers separately. Now, for these backend APIs, user interface will be available in the front end. Front end application will talk to these backend APIs. Our front end application will communicate with the backend APIs. Backend APIs are separate projects. Front end is a separate project. This front end project can be developed by using Angular or can be developed by using React.js. Front-end application will be developed by using Angular or front-end application will be developed by using React.js. This back-end application we are going to develop by using Spring Boot REST API. Spring Boot we are using and we are following microservices architecture. Okay, Spring Boot microservices we are going to use to develop backend APIs in the project. These backend APIs, one API may communicate with the third-party API, one API may communicate with another API. All these APIs can communicate with the same database, or they may have a different databases. It depends upon the project requirement how we are going to develop the APIs. Okay, guys. Now, so in order to access these APIs, one front-end application will be available. That front-end application currently people are developing by using Angular. NG means Angular. Some projects are using Angular. Some projects are using React to develop these front-end applications. Some projects are using Angular. Some projects are using React to develop the front end. Both are not required. Either Angular or React is required to develop a front end. Okay, so backend development will be available. So for a project, database will be available. Backend APIs will be available. Backend APIs will be available. Front-end application will be available. So database, it can be a Oracle or MySQL or MongoDB. Depends on the requirement. They will use one database in the backend. Okay, to store our data. And backend APIs will be available. These are called as backend REST APIs. So microservices will be available. Front-end application will be available. That may be an Angular application or that may be a React.js application we are going to use in the front end. Either Angular or React.js application we are going to use in the front end. Backend REST APIs will be developed by using Spring Boot, and we will have a database also. So this is called full stack architecture. How a full stack application is going to be developed? You can see full stack architecture like this. You can see full stack architecture like this. One database will be available to store the data, and backend microservices will be available, and front-end UI will be available. UI application we can develop by using Angular, or we can develop by using React.js. Backend applications, backend APIs we are developing by using Spring Boot. These backend APIs will contain the business logic. These backend APIs will communicate with the database. So if you can develop your application backend APIs plus front-end UI, then you are called as full stack developer. Then you are called as full stack developer. Are you guys able to understand what is full stack development? Are you guys able to understand what is full stack development? Backend APIs will be available. Backend APIs will be available and front-end UI will be available. Backend APIs will be available and front-end UI will be available. UI we are going to develop by using Angular or React. Backend we are going to develop by using Spring Boot. So the integration between front-end and backend we have to perform. Angular application should communicate with the backend REST APIs. Backend REST APIs. So these REST APIs will be deployed in the servers. Angular application also will be deployed in the server. There should be some integration between our front-end application and back-end application. Okay, so we already completed this back-end APIs in the 21 JRTP, how to develop back-end REST APIs for our major project. We have developed already back-end REST APIs for our major project. Now we need to develop the front-end application by using Angular. So here, some people know Angular, some people don't know Angular. So that's why as part of the course, I'm going to give the overview of what is Angular, how to set up the Angular, how to develop applications by using Angular, and how to integrate front-end application and back-end REST APIs. I'm going to show you how to integrate front-end application and back-end APIs. Are you guys clear with my point? Yes. So let's get started with what is Angular. Let's get started with what is Angular. Guys, first thing is Angular is a client-side framework. I'm not going to type the notes, guys, because it will take a lot of time to write the notes. Already a material is prepared for the Angular and a TypeScript. I will share this material. Do you want me to type everything? Guys, do you want me to type everything? It will waste time, right? It will waste time. No need. Okay? Good. Yep. Angular. Angular is a client-side framework which is used to create web applications. As I told you, front-end application will be developed by using Angular. Back-end application will be developed by using Spring Boot. So what is Angular? Angular is a client-side framework which is used to create web applications. Angular is a client-side framework which is used to create web application. Angular can be used in the combination with any backend platform, such as Java or Node.js or ASP or PHP or Python. So your backend application can be developed by using any technology. Your backend application may be a Java backend or maybe a .NET backend, maybe a Python backend, maybe a Node.js backend, maybe a PHP backend. The front end can be developed by using Angular. Angular is a client-side framework which is used to create web applications. Angular is a client-side framework which is used to create web applications. Angular can be used in combination with any backend platform such as Java plus Node.js or ASP or PHP or Python. So now, if you develop Angular front-end application, Angular front-end application can talk with Java backend application. Okay, if you take Angular front-end application, it can talk with ASP.NET backend application. If you take Angular front-end application, it can talk with Python backend application. It can talk with Python backend application. Backend can be anything. Frontend can be developed by using Angular. Angular is a client-side framework which is used to create web applications. Angular can be used in combination with any backend platform such as Java, .NET, Node.js, PHP, Python. Angular front-end application can talk to Java backend. Angular front-end application can talk to ASP.NET backend. Angular front-end can talk to Python backend also. Angular is developed using TypeScript language, which is a superset of the JavaScript. Angular is a framework. It is developed by Google. So Angular framework developed by using a language called TypeScript. In the front end, basically, we will use JavaScript. On top of the JavaScript, TypeScript is developed. Using that TypeScript, Angular framework developed by Google. Angular is developed by using TypeScript language, which is a superset of the JavaScript. So if you have some knowledge on the JavaScript, then easily you can learn the Angular. TypeScript is almost similar to JavaScript. Some advanced features are available in the TypeScript. Angular was developed by a company called Google. Angular is free to use and it is open source. Angular is free to use and it is open source. Angular is a cross-platform. That means it works in all the operating systems, not only in the Windows. It can work in any operating system. Angular is free to use and it is open source. Angular is a cross-platform. That means it works in all operating systems. Angular is mainly used to create single-page applications. Angular is cross-browser compatible. That means it works in all the browsers. Angular is developed by Google. Angular is free and it is open source. Angular is a cross-platform. That means it works in all the operating systems. Angular is a cross-browser compatible. That means it will work in all the browsers also. Angular is mainly used to create a single-page application. Angular is mainly used to create single-page applications. So we need to understand what is a single-page application. We'll talk about that. Are you guys clear with this? Angular is a client-side framework which is used to create web application. Angular is used in the front-end development. Backend can be anything. Angular front-end can talk to any backend application. We can integrate Angular with Java backend. We can integrate Angular with ASP backend. We can integrate Angular with Python backend. We can integrate Angular front-end with Node.js backend also. We can integrate Angular front-end application with Node.js backend application also. Angular is developed using TypeScript language. TypeScript is a superset of the JavaScript. TypeScript is superset of JavaScript. Angular was developed by a company called Google. Angular is free to use and Angular is open source. Angular is a cross-platform. That means it works in all the operating systems, multi-platform language. Angular is a cross-browser. It will take care of the browser compatibility also. Angular is mainly used to create single page applications. What is the meaning of single page application? And what is the meaning of multi-page application? Guys, web applications are divided into two types. Some web applications are single page web application. Some web applications are multi-page web application. Single page application versus multi-page applications. Single page applications versus multi-page applications. So single page applications are also called as SPA and MPA. Single page web application and multi-page web application. Angular is famous for developing single page application. What is the meaning of single page application? One page will be available, one front end page will be available, and here backend application will be available. Whenever you send a request to the backend, only first time you will get the web page. From second time, just content will be reloaded. Can you see? If you go to now Zoom, guys, I'm using Zoom. This is my Zoom account. Now, if I click on profile, what is happening? Complete page is reloading or not? When I go for Zoom, complete page is reloading or not? So there is a menu. There is a menu. When I click on this menu item, when I click on the settings, complete page is reloading. My complete page is reloading. For every request, a new page is loading. For every request, a new page is loading. So this is called multi-page application. This is called as multi-page application. Let me go to Gmail. Let me go to Gmail. Gmail is a single page application. Now in the Gmail, when I click on sent item, page is reloading or only content is loading. When I click on inbox, my mails are coming. When I click on start, the mails are loading. When I click on center, mails are loading. Content is loading. Content is loading or pages are loading in the Gmail. Guys, content is loading or pages are loading in the Gmail. In the Gmail, only content is loading. That is called single page application. So what is the meaning of single page application? In multi-page web application, complete web page will be reloaded for every request. When you go for multi-page web application, complete web page will be loaded for every request. www.zoom.us. www.zoom.us. So when you go for Zoom application, when I click on products, when I click on my profile, a page is reloading. When I click on meetings, a page is reloading. When I click on webinars, a page is reloading. When I click on contacts, page is reloading. So this is multi-page application. For every request, new page is getting loaded. That is called multi-page web application. In multi-page web application, complete web page will be reloaded for every request. The example, zoom.us. In single page web application, only content will be loaded for every request. Angular.io, www.gmail.com. So single page applications will give beautiful user experience. Single page applications will give beautiful user experience. Now see, primary available, promotion available, social. When I click on social, just content is changing. When I click on promotion, content is changing. When I click on primary, content is changing. When I click on sent item, content is changing. Drops, content changing. More, important, scheduled, spam, trash, categories only. Every time the content is loading in the Gmail. Gmail is the example for single page application. That means only one page will be available, guys. See the difference here. Now this is my front end. This is my front end. This is my back end. When you go for multi-page web application, I'm sending a request. I'm sending a request. So this is my request. For this request, I will get the response. What is the response? One web page will come as a response. HTML web page will come as a response. HTML page will come as a response. HTML page will come as a response. Okay. Similarly, when I send another request, second request to the server, again I will get a page as a response. I'm sending a second request, then the second request is sending a response to me. That response is also one HTML page. That response is also one HTML page. This is UI and this is server. This is server. This is multi-page application. This is multi-page application. When you go for multi-page application, for every request, new web page will be loaded. When you go for single page application, UI is available and here our server is available. First time when we send a request to the server, first time I'm sending a request to the server. I'm sending a request to the server. first time it will send a web page as a response. First time it will send the HTML page as a response, only for first time. HTML page coming as a response. When I make a second request to the server, when I make a second request to the server, it will not send the web page, it will send the just response. JSON data will come as a response. That's it. In the single page web application, only first time web page will be loaded. From the second time, only JSON data will be rendered in the front end. Request JSON data. That's it. So this is UI and this is the server. You can understand the difference. In multi-page application, for every request, new web page is loading. See that? I'm going to zoom. Click on profile, a page is loading. A page is loading. Click on meetings, a page is refreshing. You can see the browser. User can feel that request is going and response is coming. Click on webinars, it is loading. Click on recordings, it is loading. Click on dashboard, it is loading. Okay, so user can feel that web page is loading. Web page is loading. But when you go to Gmail, when I click on sent item, page not reloading, but content is changing, body is changing. Here when I click on sent item, the mails which I have sent, they are displaying. When I click on inbox, the mails which I have received, they are displaying. Okay, so without reloading the page, my content is changing. That is called single page application. Are you guys able to understand the difference between what is multi-page web application and what is single page application? Are you guys able to understand the difference between what is single page application or what is multi-page application? Yes. What is the example for single page application? Can you tell me some examples for single page applications? Can you tell me some example for single page application? Guys, come on. Can you tell me the example for single page application? Guys, come on. What is the difference between single page application and multi-page web application? What is the difference between single page web application and multi-page web application? Single page web application means only first time web page will be loaded. Only first time web page will be loaded. From second time only data will be rendered. Only data will be rendered. In the multi-page application, for every request, new web page will be loaded. For every request, new web page will be loaded. So which will give the best user experience? Users will like which application, guys? Users will like multi-page applications or users will like single page application? Single page, beautiful user experience. Now, Angular people provided a documentation. A beautiful documentation is available for learning Angular. I learnt Angular from the Angular documentation only, guys. Get started. Now see, adding navigation. You see, when I clicking on the Angular documentation, the page is reloading or only content is reloading. Angular.io website, page reloading or content is reloading. When I'm clicking on these menus, page reloading or only content is reloading. Only content is reloading. So Angular is used to develop single page applications. Angular documentation also developed by using single page application. What is Angular? What is Angular? This topic will tell you what is Angular. Okay. Now Angular components available, how to work with Angular, understanding the Angular. Okay, how to learn the Angular, what is Angular? Angular is a development platform built on the TypeScript. As a platform, Angular includes component-based framework for building scalable web applications, collection of well-integrated libraries to cover wide variety of features, routing, forms, client server, and more. A suite of developer tools to help you develop, build, test, and update your code. With Angular, you are taking advantage of a platform that can scale from single developer projects to enterprise level. Okay, so there are several advantages that they are giving related to Angular. Okay, so now you can learn the Angular from this Angular documentation. You can learn the Angular from this Angular documentation. When I'm using this documentation, when I click on the menu item, page reloading are only, you can see URL is changing. Angular.io.start. When I click on add navigation, start routing. When I click on managing data, start data. Using forms, start forms. Deploying an application. Request is going to the server, response is coming. But the page is reloading or page is not reloading. Guys, page is reloading or the page is not reloading. Page is not reloading. Page is not reloading. But response is loading or response is not loading. Response is loading or response is not loading. Response is loading. That is called single page application. That is called as single page application. Angular is mainly used to develop single page web applications. Angular is mainly used to develop single page web applications. Okay, guys. We discussed about what is Angular. Angular is a client-side framework which is used to create the web applications. Angular can be used in combination with any backend platform such as Java, .NET, PHP, Python. Angular is developed using TypeScript language, which is a superset of JavaScript. Angular was developed by a company called Google. Angular is free to use and Angular is open source. Angular is a cross-platform. That means it works in all the operating systems. Angular is a cross-browser compatible. That means it works in all the browsers. Angular is mainly used to create a single-page applications. What is a single-page application? What is multi-page application? Multi-page web application. In multi-page web application, complete web page will be reloaded for every request. Complete web page will be reloaded for every request. Now see, traditional page lifecycle. Client will be available, server will be available. When client send a request, one HTML page will come as a response. When client send a request, one HTML page will come as a response. At the client side, every time page will be reloaded. Client is sending a request to the server, server is sending a response to the client. Client is sending a request to the server, server is sending response to the client. This is traditional web page lifecycle. This is a traditional web page lifecycle. Now let's go for single page application versus multi-page application. In the multi-page application, client is sending a request to the server, server is sending a HTML page as a response to the client. Client is sending again one more request to the server, server is sending HTML page as a response to the client. Every time page will be reloaded when you go for a multi-page lifecycle, multi-page web application. When the page is reloading every time, lot of content will be reloaded. It will increase the burden on the browser. When the pages are reloading for every request, burden will be increased on the browsers. Okay. Now, if you go for single page application, client will send an initial request to the server. For first request, whenever I type @www.gmail.com, first time when I type www.gmail.com, one web page will load. I got the web page. After that, I'm clicking on sent item. Page is not loading, just the content is loaded. When I click on inbox, page is not loading, only content is loading. Okay, so request is sending to the server, response is coming, but page is not reloading. So first request will get the web page as a response. Second request we will send by using Ajax. We will get the JSON response. JSON response will be updated at the client side. Gmail, Angular documentation, these all are single page applications. Nowadays, there is a lot of demand for single page applications in the market. Angular is one framework which is used to develop single page applications. Angular is one framework available in the market which is used to develop single page applications. Able to follow me? You got the clarity. What is multi-page web application and what is a single page web application? By looking at the diagram, you got the clarity. What is the difference between multi-page application and single page application? So now, how to develop a single page web application? By using which framework we can develop single page web application? Guys, come on. How to develop single page web application? By using Angular, we can develop single page applications. By using Angular, we can develop single page applications. By using Angular, we can develop single page applications. Are you guys clear with my point? Are you guys clear with my point? Perfect. Single page application means only first time web page will be loaded. From second request only response will be updated in the front end. When you go for multi-page web application, for every request new web page will be loaded. Multi-page application, single page application. Angular is used to develop single page applications. Cool. What is Angular? Angular is a client-side framework which is used to create web applications. Front end we can develop by using Angular. Back end can be developed by using anything. Okay, we are Java full stack developers. Front end will be developed by using Angular. Back end will be developed by using Spring Boot. So that will become our full stack application. Back end is REST API with Spring Boot microservices. Front end with Angular. Angular application can communicate with a Java backend application. Angular is developed using a language called TypeScript. Angular developed by which company? Google. React developed by Facebook. Angular developed by Google. React developed by Facebook. Angular developed by Google. Angular is free to use and Angular is open source. Angular is a cross-platform. It works in all the operating systems. Angular is a cross-browser. It works in all the browsers. Angular is mainly used to create single-page applications. Okay, multi-page web application versus single-page web application. In multi-page web application, complete web page will be reloaded for every request. In single page web application only, content will be reloaded for every request. Okay. In the market, Angular JS is available and Angular is available. In the market, Angular JS is available, Angular is available. Guys, some people will think Angular JS and Angular both are same, but no. Angular JS versus Angular both are not same. Angular JS and Angular both are not same. Are you guys clear with my point? Angular JS and Angular both are same or both are not same? Angular JS and Angular both are same or both are not same? Both are not same. See, Angular JS is called as Angular 1, which is developed based on JavaScript. Google only developed Angular JS first. Angular JS is called as Angular 1, which is developed based on JavaScript. Angular 2 is not the extension for Angular 1. Angular 2 framework is completely rewritten in the TypeScript. Angular 2 plus versions are same with minor changes. Angular JS, Angular 1, both are same. From Angular 2, the framework is completely redeveloped. Because of some issues in the Angular JS, Google has redeveloped Angular from the version 2. From version 2 to version 14, it is called Angular. Angular JS means Angular 1. Angular JS is called as Angular 1, which is developed based on JavaScript. Angular 2 is not extension for Angular 1. Not extension for Angular 1 because Angular 2 framework is completely rewritten using TypeScript. Angular 2 plus versions are almost same with minor changes. Angular JS is having performance drawbacks because of digest loop. There is a concept called digest loop in the Angular JS. Angular is faster in performance because no digest loops and no repetitions. Digest loop concept introduced in the Angular JS. Because of that concept that Angular JS became very slow, Google realized that performance of the Angular JS is not good. That's why they have rewritten the framework completely by using TypeScript. Angular JS is based on JavaScript, which is a prototype based OOP language. Angular is based on TypeScript, which is a class based OOP language. So JavaScript is used to develop JavaScript. They used to develop Angular JS, but Angular framework developed by using TypeScript. Angular is based on MVC. Angular JS is based on MVC architecture, whereas Angular is based on components. Okay, we are not learning Angular JS, guys. We are learning Angular. Angular JS is outdated. Angular JS is outdated. To overcome the drawbacks of the Angular JS, Google redeveloped Angular framework. From Angular version 2, it is called Angular. Angular 2 onwards, it is called as Angular. Before Angular 2, it is called as Angular JS. Angular JS is outdated. Angular JS developed by JavaScript, Angular developed by TypeScript. There are some performance issues in the Angular JS. To overcome those performance issues, they developed Angular framework by using TypeScript. They developed Angular framework by using TypeScript. So we are learning Angular JS, or we are learning Angular. Which one we are learning now? Guys, we are learning Angular JS, or we are learning Angular? Angular. Why not Angular JS? Why not Angular JS? Outdated. Performance issues. Performance issues. Angular JS is outdated because of the performance issues. Angular JS developed by using JavaScript. Performance issues. To overcome the performance issues, Google redeveloped Angular. From version 2, it is called Angular. Angular 1, Angular 1.1, Angular 1.5 called as Angular JS. Now we are not using Angular JS. We are using Angular. Angular 2, Angular 4, Angular 6, Angular 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. These all are called as Angular versions. Only Angular 1 is called as Angular JS. Angular JS developed using JavaScript. Angular is developed by using TypeScript. It is developed by using TypeScript. Understand my point? Are you clear with my point, guys? Single page application, multi-page application. What is Angular? What is Angular JS? And what is Angular? Are you clear with that concept? So we discussed about what is Angular. Angular is a client-side framework which is used to develop web applications. Angular is free and open source. It is developed by Google. It is cross-platform, cross-browser. It is very famous in the market to develop single-page applications. We discussed about what is a SPA, single page versus multi-page, single page versus multi-page, Angular JS versus Angular, Angular JS versus Angular. Angular JS developed by using JavaScript, but due to performance issues, Google only redeveloped complete framework, and that is called Angular, Angular framework. Angular JS is different, Angular is different. Angular JS developed by JavaScript, Angular developed by TypeScript. From Angular 2 to Angular 14, current version is 14, I think. Angular 2 to Angular 14. Angular 14. These are called as Angular framework versions. These are called as Angular framework versions. Angular JS, that is different. Angular 2 onwards, it is called as a framework which is developed by TypeScript. Angular 2, Angular 3, Angular 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. These all are Angular framework versions. Before Angular 2, Angular 1. Angular 1 is Angular JS that is developed by JavaScript. Are you clear with these three concepts? What is Angular? What is a single page application? What is the difference between Angular JS and Angular? Are you clear? Are you clear with this point, guys? Perfect. Perfect. Now, in order to learn the Angular, first we need to learn TypeScript. In order to learn the Angular, what we need to learn first, guys? Can we directly develop the Angular application without having a knowledge on TypeScript? Angular framework developed by using which language? Angular framework developed by using which language? Angular framework developed by using TypeScript. So to become an Angular developer, first what you need to learn? To become an Angular developer, what you need to learn first? We need to learn TypeScript first. Okay, what is a TypeScript? TypeScript is a general purpose programming language. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. TypeScript can be used at the client side as well as at the server side. Browsers cannot understand TypeScript directly. TypeScript files should be converted to JavaScript. JavaScript files should be executed in the browser. The process of converting TypeScript file into JavaScript file is called transpilation. TypeScript, how we have Java program? Java program will be compiled into .class file. .class file we will execute. Similarly, TypeScript file should be converted into JavaScript file. JavaScript file will be executed in the browser. So TypeScript is a superset of the JavaScript. Whatever the features which are not there in the JavaScript, those features are added in the TypeScript. TypeScript cannot be executed in the browser directly because browsers cannot understand the TypeScript. Okay, TypeScript developed by which company? TypeScript developed by Microsoft. Angular developed by Google. TypeScript developed by Microsoft. See the comedy. TypeScript is a language developed by Microsoft. Using TypeScript language, Google developed Angular. Facebook developed React. Samjha? Yes. Read the points about the TypeScript. सब मिलके कर दिया था. TypeScript. What is a TypeScript? TypeScript is a general purpose programming language. TypeScript is a superset of the JavaScript. That means in the JavaScript, data types concept is not available. In the TypeScript, data types, in the JavaScript, everything will be represented as a var, where ID is equal to 10, where name is equal to some value. In the JavaScript, there is no data type concept. Everything will be declared as a var in the JavaScript. But in the TypeScript, variables concept is there, data types concept is there, classes concept is there. TypeScript is a OOP language. TypeScript is a OOP language. TypeScript supports for OOPs, type safety. Okay, TypeScript is a general purpose programming language. TypeScript is superset of JavaScript. TypeScript can be used at the client side as well as at the server side also. In the Angular, we can use a TypeScript. In the React also, we can use a TypeScript. In the Node.js also, we can use the TypeScript. In the Java also, we can use a TypeScript. TypeScript can be used at client-side development as well as at the server-side development also, because TypeScript is a general purpose programming language. TypeScript is a general purpose programming language. Okay, TypeScript is a general purpose programming language. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. TypeScript can be used at the client-side development as well as at the server-side development also. Browsers cannot understand the TypeScript directly. TypeScript files should be converted to JavaScript. JavaScript files will be executed in the browser. The process of converting the TypeScript file into JavaScript file is called a transpilation. Simple. If you know Java program execution flow, this is a .java, this is a .class. Here JVM will come, then it will execute in the system. Okay, here we will have .java file. When we compile the .java file, what will happen? It will generate a .class file. When compile a .java file, it will generate the .class file. When you execute the .class file, it will give the output. JVM will execute that, and JVM will give the output of our program. Okay, guys. Similarly, when we have JavaScript file, JavaScript files will have .js extension. JavaScript files can be executed in the browsers directly. Browser nothing but client side. JavaScript program can be executed in the browser directly. Whenever you write a JavaScript program can be executed in the browser directly. But when you write a TypeScript program will have .tsc as an extension. TypeScript programs cannot be executed in the browser directly. So this is .ts. .ts. It is TypeScript. Okay. Whenever we write a program by using TypeScript, that a TypeScript program should be converted into JavaScript program. That JavaScript program will execute in the browser. In order to do this conversion, we have TypeScript compiler. Here we have Java compiler. Here we have TypeScript compiler. This process is called as transpilation. The process of converting TypeScript program into JavaScript program is called as transpilation. Here it is called as compilation. Here it is called compilation. Here it is called execution. Transpilation and execution. Whenever we develop a Java program cannot be executed in the computer directly. Our Java program should be compiled into .class file. That .class file we can execute by using JVM. It will give the output. Similarly, you can develop the front-end code by using JavaScript. JavaScript programs will have .js as an extension. That JavaScript programs can be executed in the browser directly. JavaScript program can be executed in the browser directly. Yes or no? JavaScript program can be executed in the browser directly. See here, when we go for JavaScript program, let me take Angular. Okay, now here I'm going to take one HTML file. I'm going to take one HTML file, demo.html. Inside this HTML, we can write the code. Okay, open this HTML, edit this HTML. In this HTML, we can write the tag as HTML tag. Inside the HTML, we will write the head tag. And in that head will contain script tag. And we will write the body tag and body. Inside the body, I'm writing welcome to Angular. I'm writing the body, welcome to Angular. Go to browser, right click, open with Chrome. Yes, I'm able to see welcome to Angular. That is, my HTML file is executing. Inside this HTML, we can write the script tag. Inside the HTML, we can write the script tag. Inside the script tag, we can write the script name. We can write the script. Okay, how we can write the script? Alert, hi. Like this, we can execute the script in the browser. See here, alert is coming. When I refresh the page, alert message is coming. When I refresh the page, alert message is coming. Can I call it as a JavaScript function? Alert is a JavaScript function which is giving a alert message in the browser. When I refresh my web page, alert message is coming. That means JavaScript is executing in the browser, or JavaScript is not executing in the browser directly. Guys, alert function is executing in the browser directly. Alert function not executing in the browser directly. Executed. So can I say JavaScript can be executed directly in the browser? JavaScript can be executed in the browser directly. But in the JavaScript, oops, classes, objects, data types not available. JavaScript does not support for data type. JavaScript does not support for classes. JavaScript does not support for oops. JavaScript does not support for objects. So to overcome the problems of the JavaScript, Microsoft developed one language called TypeScript. TypeScript supports for oops. TypeScript supports for data types. TypeScript supports for classes. TypeScript supports for objects. TypeScript supports for interfaces. TypeScript supports for constructors, abstract classes, setter methods, getter methods. How we will do the Java programming in the same way? In the same way, we can go for TypeScript. In the same way, we can go for TypeScript. Yeah, in the JavaScript, some oops concepts it supports, but not everything. Not everything, Narasimha. Whatever the OOPs are available, all the OOPs features we can't achieve by using JavaScript. But by using TypeScript, we can achieve them. TypeScript is advanced than JavaScript. TypeScript is advanced than JavaScript. But the problem is, when I write a program by using TypeScript, can I execute the TypeScript directly in the JavaScript? Can I execute TypeScript program directly in the browser? Can I execute TypeScript program in the browser? TypeScript program cannot be executed in the browser. JavaScript program can be executed in the browser. When you have a TypeScript program should be converted to JavaScript. JavaScript can be used in the HTML and JavaScript can be executed in the browser. JavaScript can be executed in the browser. TypeScript cannot be executed. TypeScript should be converted to JavaScript. To convert the TypeScript to JavaScript, there is a TypeScript compiler that is called a transpilation. So TypeScript file will have the .ts, JavaScript file will have .js. So whenever you compile the TypeScript program will be converted to JavaScript. JavaScript program can be executed in the browser. This is the process. You got it? If you know Java, that means you know TypeScript also. I no need to spend much time. Within 2 days, you will learn what is a TypeScript. I'm sure. Because guys, tell me one question. Tell me one thing. Do I need to teach you what is variable? Do I need to teach you what is variable? Do I need to teach you what is the data type? Do I need to teach you what is method? What is a class? What is object? What is class? What is object? What is interface? What is a constructor? What is abstract class? What is import? Do I need to teach you all these concepts? Do I need to teach all these concepts? If you know these concepts, that means you know TypeScript also. Done. TypeScript is done. In the TypeScript, only these concepts will be available. Variables, data types, methods, classes, objects, interfaces, constructors, abstract classes, import statements. Done. If you know these concepts in the Java, that means you know TypeScript also. That's why for Java people, learning Angular is very easy. For Java people, learning Angular is very easy. Outside, Angular course is 3 months. Do you know why Angular course they are taking 3 months? In the outside, they are charging 7,000, 8,000 rupees for Angular course. They are teaching Angular for 3 months. Do you know why? Do you know why they are taking 3 months of time to teach Angular? First 1 month, they will teach these concepts. Then next 1 month, they will teach OOPs. First 1 month, they will teach what is a data type, what is variable, because Angular mostly UI people will attend Angular classes now. Those people don't know classes, objects, methods, variables, data types. For them, first 1 month they will teach. First 1 month they will teach here this concept. Next 1 month they will teach OOPs, what is inheritance, what is encapsulation, what is polymorphism, what is abstraction. They will teach 1 month. Last 1 month they will teach Angular. That's why outside Angular course is taking 3 months of time. First 1 month basics of the programming. Second 1 month they will teach OOPs. Last month they will teach Angular. But for you, do we need to spend that much time? Do you need that much time for Angular? Really, if you are a Java developer, within 1 week you can learn Angular. This 1 month also not required. This 1 month, daily 1 hour, they will take 1 month. I will complete the Angular for you within 7 to 10 days. You will become a Angular developer. Within 7 to 10 days, you will become a Angular developer. That's easy, dead easy, dead easy. If you know these programming concepts, variables, data types, methods, classes, objects, interfaces, constructors, abstract classes, import statements, OOPs concepts, TypeScript is completed. TypeScript is completed. No need to learn. Directly we will focus on the Angular. So 2 days I will spend for TypeScript concepts. You will feel bored if I teach these concepts again. Variable is used to store the data. To store the data, you need to declare a variable with a data type. Integer, double, short, number, character, boolean. Already completed in core Java. Already completed in core Java. Why to discuss again here? Not required. So that's why I told you how much is required for the Java developer, that much Angular I am going to cover. Happily, you can keep Angular in the resume. I am a Angular developer. Backend development with Spring Boot, front-end development with Angular. You can say that you are a full stack developer after this 10 days of time. Within these 10 days, you will become pro in the Angular. Within these 10 days of time, you will become pro in the Angular. You can develop Angular application on your own. You can develop any front-end application on your own. 10 days is more than sufficient. 10 days is more than sufficient for Angular if you know Java. If you don't know Java, then if you don't know Java, can you learn the Angular in 10 days? No, because programming concepts are required. As you are already Java people, you no need to spend months of time for Angular. 10 days is sufficient. I will prove it. Within 10 days, you will become master in the Angular. You can develop a front end. You can integrate front end with the back end. Anything. Okay, guys. So you got the clarity. What is Angular? What is the TypeScript? What is a single page application? What is multi-page application? Understood? Yeah. What is a TypeScript? TypeScript is a general purpose programming language. TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. TypeScript can be used at the client side development, at the server side development. Browsers cannot understand the TypeScript directly. Yes, browsers will understand only JavaScript, but the JavaScript does not have data types. JavaScript does not have classes objects. Okay, so some concepts which are not there in the JavaScript are available in the TypeScript, but TypeScript cannot be executed in the browser. TypeScript program should be converted into JavaScript. JavaScript files will be executed in the browsers. The process of converting TypeScript file into JavaScript file is called transpilation. So how to do the transpilation? TypeScript compiler we will use to perform the transpilation. TypeScript compiler we will use to perform transpilation. TypeScript supports OOPS. TypeScript developed by Microsoft in the 2012. TypeScript developed by Microsoft. Angular developed by Google. Angular developed by using TypeScript. Okay. Now, so in the tomorrow session, we are going to see how to install the TypeScript and how to develop our first program by using TypeScript, how to compile the program and how to execute the program. Today it is just a introduction for Angular, introduction for TypeScript. Okay, guys. Are you feeling Angular is easy? Easy or difficult? That easy. That easy. You know how to write the classes. You know how to create the objects. You know how to create the variables. You know how to create the data types. You know how to use OOPS concepts. That means you know TypeScript. If you know TypeScript, you know Angular. So within 10 days, you will become expert in Angular. So believe me, you will learn the Angular within 10 days of time. Happily, you can keep in the resume. I know Angular. Okay. So when you are keeping 3 years of experience, you can say that Java experience is 3 years. From 1.5 years, I am working on the Angular. You can keep 1.5 year experience on the Angular. Okay. How much Angular is required for the Java people? That much we are going to learn. And we will develop application also. Front end, back end integration also I will show. In the live class only, I will develop the project. I will integrate front-end application with a back-end application. Front-end Angular, back-end Spring Boot. Okay, guys. Clear for everybody? Chalo, good. Let's take break for today. And we are going to continue in the tomorrow session. So 2 days we are going to spend for TypeScript. Once the TypeScript is completed, then we will start the Angular. Once the TypeScript is completed, then we are going to learn the Angular. Thank you. Today it is just theoretical session. From tomorrow, practicals will start. Thank you guys. Thank you. Bye bye. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.